Jiu-jitsu is hard. It's uncomfortable. It will lead to injury if you do it long enough. It's disgusting. You're going to be rolling around in other people's sweat, and they're going to be rubbing their injuries and their infections and their warts and everything else all over you. So why would you ever do this? Well, the answer is twofold. One, it's going to teach you to keep your ego in check. It's going to teach you to manage your emotions and your decision making under stress and duress. And fundamentally, that will improve your core capabilities as a man. It will make you a better protector, a better provider, a better organizer of the environment and the people around you. The second part of this is when you meet a new man for the first time in a social situation of some kind, you meet him face to face, you immediately establish a big part of your first impression on your estimation of his physical capabilities. So jiu-jitsu will forge into you a presentation of a man who is physically capable, a man who can handle himself against other men. It's really hard to hide this once you've built it into yourself, and it's impossible to fake. You either got it or you don't. And all men around you instantly and instinctually recognize it. This is something that happens in your subconscious. It's universal, it's natural, it's how men operate. First thing they do, they meet a new man, is try to figure out how dangerous this guy could be if he wants to be. And as you walk into social networking and new business relationships, or any context where a face-to-face transaction is going to happen, this presentation of being a man that can handle yourself will give you an advantage. So those are pretty compelling reasons to do jiu-jitsu. So let's say you're actually going to start. You're going to go to your first few classes. Let me give you some tips based on mistakes that I have made and mistakes that I have seen other beginners make. So there are three main things, and the first one is the most important, and that is not to use strength. Virtually all jiu-jitsu techniques, they don't require strength. What they require is correct mechanics. You have to have all the details right to make a move work and to achieve a submission. And this is practically universal with beginners, if you go into it and you get like 90% of the details right, 90% of things are right, but something is missing and it's not quite working, you're not quite getting the choke, you're not quite getting the lock, do not start adding strength. It's what everybody tries to do. I'm not getting this choke. Let me just crank on it. I'm not quite getting this lock. Let me just push harder with my hips and try to force it. You don't need strength with these techniques. What you need are correct mechanics. And if you don't do that, here's what's going to happen. You're going to injure your partner, and then people aren't going to want to train with you. And the only people you're going to train with are people who also injure other people. And guess what? Now you're going to get injured. And you're going to be out, and it's going to either going to end your jiu-jitsu career or stunt it, and it just won't be optimal for you. Obviously, you don't want to get hurt. Don't do this. Do not add strength. Focus on mechanics. Now, the corollary to this is tap out early. Okay, you don't want to wait until you feel pain to tap. You don't want to wait till you're passing out to tap out. All right, this is a mistake that a lot of beginners make. And it does two things. One, it encourages people who also, especially beginners, because you're going to be training with a lot of beginners as well. And most people in jiu-jitsu are beginners. It's a pyramid. The most experienced people are the fewest, and the least experienced people are the most. So you end up training with a lot of other white belts that don't really understand this. If you don't tap out early, they will start adding strength and you'll get injured. If you don't tap out early, you'll end up with chronic injuries that build up over time. Because by the time you're feeling pain, you're already starting to irritate the linings in your joints. You're starting to produce wear on the cartilage and so on. You don't need that. You need your joints intact and they need to be healthy. So don't wait until you're feeling pain to tap out. That's a mistake. You need to tap out as soon as you feel that you're checkmated. You don't have a way out and you know what's coming next. It's going to be painful. Don't do that. It's going to be uncomfortable. Don't do that. Tap out as soon as you get to that point. There's no shame in it. This is not an ego battle to see who's the best. You're training. You're learning. You're not there to win. Okay? Winning is for competition. after you've put hundreds and maybe thousands of hours in on the mats. Then you can go compete, and you can actually try to win. In the gym, there is no win. No one cares. It's irrelevant. You're there to learn. So focus on that and tap out early. Now, the third thing, the final thing that happens a lot is this idea of needing to win. And it's combined kind of with fight or flight. You know, when you very first start, you have a fight or flight response that kind of pushes you to panic and use full strength and full speed, when you're doing everything. Do not do that. You need to learn to pace yourself. So this is the third thing. You're going to pace yourself out, slow down, chill out. If you want to see what I'm talking about, just watch the higher level belts in your gym. Watch how they move. Are they using a lot of speed? Are they using a lot of strength? Do you see them trembling with effort? No, they're very slow and very relaxed in everything that they do, and very deliberate and very precise. And there's no wasted effort. They're very efficient. You watch how they're breathing. Now they're going to sweat. They're going to get hot and they're going to sweat. So there is effort involved no matter what you do. But you watch their breathing. Do you see this guy hyperventilating? Do you see this guy spazzing out in any way, these higher belts? No, you do not. They're very chill and relaxed. And that's what you need to focus on being. Chill, relax. It's practically universal that you're not going to be able to do this on your first class or two. But at least go in there with the idea that you want to be chill and relaxed. This is not, no one's trying to kill you. This is not a life or death situation for you. You need to relax. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. There's going to be a guy on top of you driving you into the mats, and you're going to feel like you're dying, whether you panic or not. That's what's going to happen when you first show up. And it's going to happen a lot. You're going to get smashed a lot. Just accept it and chill out. You'll have a much better time. I see so many guys, they show up and they're dancing around, and then they charge in with full strength and speed, and they've seen it on the UFC, and they're just going at it. And a higher belt is going to be able to handle you safely and they know how to handle you and keep you from hurting yourself and keep you from hurting them. They can control you, a higher level belt. But you go against somebody else who has less experience, you go against another white belt or something, now it's not the same situation. This guy doesn't know how to handle it, and he's going to accelerate along with you, and someone's going to come up short. And I've seen it happen a lot. I recently broke a couple of joints in my fingers doing judo, and we had a newbie in the class right before I broke my hand, and on his third or fourth class, he was doing this. He was accelerating with everybody, and he went with some other guy who was also brand new. And they started accelerating on each other. He ended up with a broken arm. He just took a bad fall wrong, but out of control, and he twisted his arm and broke it. And you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to do that. I promise you, that guy's never coming back to judo, ever. It's going to take him 6 months to heal up from that injury, maybe longer, and then he's going to have in the back of his mind, I go to 1 or 2 sessions and I'm busted up. He's done. He's never coming back to it. So he'll never gain the advantages that something like judo would bring to his life, simply because he was out of control from the get-go. So don't be that guy. Just relax, focus. I promise you, there's a lot more zen to jiu-jitsu than there is Conan the Barbarian. Okay, just relax. This is an exercise in self-control. It's an exercise in learning how to move your body, learning how to deal with stress, learning how to deal with duress, being strategic under pressure. This is not an exercise in trying to win. It's not a battle that you're trying to win. This is not you're gonna die if you lose. That's not what this is. And if you walk into it with that understanding, you will be much more successful.